is Emily, and this is my story. I thought I knew my husband, but the truth is, he's been hiding a terrifying secret. We've been married for 10 years, and everything seemed perfect, until I found something that changed everything. It all started one Saturday afternoon. Mark was out, and I decided to clean up our bedroom. While I was dusting, I noticed something strange. Behind a row of books on the top shelf was a small, locked box. I had never seen it before, and I got curious. I searched through his things and found a tiny silver key hidden in his desk drawer. When I opened the box, my hands were shaking. Inside were papers, photos, and a cell phone I didn't recognize. My heart started racing as I looked through the documents. There was a birth certificate, but it wasn't for Mark. It was for someone named Daniel Foster. Then there were photos of Mark, or at least someone who looked like him, but he had different hairstyles, different clothes, and he was with people I'd never seen before. I turned on the phone, and there was no password. What I found in the messages made me feel sick. The texts were between Mark and a woman named Jessica, but she called him Daniel. They talked about meeting in secret, about lying to me, and about plans I had no clue about. The worst message I read said, "I'm done pretending with Emily. She's getting suspicious. We need to act soon." My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might stop. Pretending? Who was Mark, really? What was he planning to do? When Mark came home, I confronted him. I showed him the box, my hands still shaking. His face went pale, but he didn't seem scared. Instead, he just looked at me with cold, empty eyes. "Emily," he said in a flat voice, "you weren't supposed to find out. My real name is Daniel. The life we have, it's just one of many I've lived." He started telling me things that made my blood run cold. He wasn't really Mark. He had been living a double life, and I wasn't the only person he had fooled. He told me about Jessica, how they had done terrible things together. He admitted to lying, stealing, and even worse things too horrible to even think about. I realized I was just another pawn in his twisted game. Then he leaned in close, so close I could feel his breath on my face. His voice dropped to a whisper, and he said, "Emily, you can't tell anyone. If you do, you'll end up like the others." I was frozen with fear. Who were the others? What had he done to them? I was too scared to ask. From that moment, everything changed. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was terrified all the time. Every little sound in the house made me jump. Every time he looked at me, it felt like a threat. I started noticing things I hadn't seen before. How he never let me see his phone. How he sometimes had bruises that he couldn't explain. How he would leave for hours and give me vague excuses about where he'd been. I couldn't stop thinking that he was planning something terrible, something that might mean the end for me. Now, I'm trapped in my own home, living with a man I no longer recognize, scared every single day that he's going to make me disappear, just like he did with the others.